Welcome to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast, where we interview the biggest and most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, and capital raisers in the world to provide you with the tool sets, the mindsets, and the skill sets to help you conquer yourself, your life, your marriage, and use real estate as your wealth creation vehicle so that you can live a more successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and contribution. If what you're after is having it all, if what you desire is becoming the best version you can be across all areas, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sentimentally, and financially, you've come to the right place. We will bring to you the best of the best real estate entrepreneurs who will give you the insights, knowledge, experience, and skills so that you can go out and crush it financially and across all areas of your life. Grab pencil and paper, sit back, enjoy, and you are welcome to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. So today, I have a super incredible guest with me that I'm very excited to get to talk to, learn from, and connect with. But before I introduce this Modern King to you, though, I just want to ask all of you watching or listening for a favor. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, if you get some type of value and insight, a skill, if you learn some good information, if you get maybe some motivation or the inspiration to go out, take some action, and keep on moving forward towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this episode. Share with someone you think this might impact. Share with someone you think might be interested in real estate, and just help us share this message. Help us help other people. And to all of you who take a couple of seconds to share this on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your stories or whatever, I send to you a big hug and a big thank you. And today I have with me Jovan Crawford. All right. He's Jovan possesses more than a decade of experience in the real estate industry and is the managing partner at BLK Building Solutions. He grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and at the age of 11 started to work at his uncle's construction company, where he learned how to purchase and turn around residential and commercial property. So, he's been involved in this since very young. And little did he know that the passion for real estate was ignited and would guide his entire career. And as a seasoned investor, he owns several income properties and is an active partner in numerous real estate transactions. And as managing partner, Jovan leads the team at BLK Building Solutions for the areas of growth, planning, and creative acquisition. And when he's not making things happen in the boardroom, not the bedroom, okay? He inspires and motivates individuals to buy real estate and build wealth within their communities through his Buy Income Property 5-Day Challenge. So he actually has a 5-day challenge to any of you working professionals out there who may want to get started in investing in income producing properties. So excited to talk about that. So Jovan, thank you very much for being here, man. I really appreciate you. And you are welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Jovan, so the first thing that I do with my guest, man, is I actually tell them to walk us through their real estate investing journey in 75 seconds or less.
75 seconds. Oh, boy. Yeah, I think you kind of touched on it just from the bio. So just having a background of being in a family construction company and just kind of at a young age learning how to been in the inner city, family providing a way for me to work without having to engage in some of the activities in the city. Started using my knowledge of being in real estate as far as construction and residential rehab projects, and started to see how that was working and how that was able to provide, wealth and opportunities for my family. So that's something that I wanted to get into, and I ended up using construction as a way to start getting into my very first real estate deal, which allowed me to get my very first income property from me and my wife and my kids, and allowed me to build that leverage to start getting into real estate and start building relationships and using my background in construction to get started in real estate.
Cool. So when were you able to get that first rental property for you and your family? Like how? When was that? When did that happen?
So that happened for me like at the age of 24. So right when I just got married, just had like 2 small kids, just getting started early. I bought my very first property. It was just where everybody kind of maybe familiar with FHA financing. I was able to use the 2 or 3K loan and got a multifamily property in Chicago where I stayed in 1 unit, and then I rented out the other 2 units, and that would allow me to pay for my mortgage and start putting, some funds into my pocket, which really saved. Starting out with, with a young family, was able to put that money into my pocket and leverage that to buy the next property.
Okay. So how is that called in the real estate industry? Hacking? No, wait.
Yeah, so the term they use, they call it house hacking. So basically you just staying in a property that you occupy and you letting the other 2 units, if it's bringing in gross income and it's supporting all the expenses, it can, eventually pay for your mortgage each month. And that's what's happened for me. I didn't have to pay out of my pocket. especially if you're a individual just getting married, you got 2 small kids, you can use that money. And then getting into an area where the property value was moving pretty quick, that allowed me I was able to leverage that to continue buying real estate properties and income properties.
Yeah. So man, on your Instagram, if you like go to Instagram, you have the multifamily coach. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so multifamily coaches come from when I got started in real estate. Although I got started with being in construction with my family, what I learned is that even with my family, a lot of people wasn't willing to sit down and show me the ropes of how to get into it. It was like the school of hard knocks. You have family that was in it, you watched it, but it was no one to really sit down and hold your hand and walk you through the process of how to raise capital, or how to, what should be in your purchase agreement, what contingencies you should have in there. So along the way of meeting with other mentors and meeting with other real estate investors, I said, you know what, I'm not getting what I need. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other individuals like myself who may have experience or may have no experience whatsoever. And what started happening is I ended up partnering with a real estate community in Chicago. And I realized even within that community, a lot of people kept coming to me and saying, hey, I need help. Hey, I've been in real estate for almost 5 years. I've never done a deal. I only done one deal. And so with so many people I was sitting down with, and just for free, showing them how to structure their deal, showing them what they should put in their deal, how to do creative finance and how to structure their deal. And to the point where I had to create a program where I can assist and mentor these individuals, because I couldn't sit down with so many people at the same time. So that's where the multifamily coach came in. So just really showing the individuals and putting a system together where I can meet with them all together in a community online, where everybody's kind of going through the same issues or problems, and we all kind of grow and learn together.
Cool. So you actually teach other people how to get started in the multifamily investing?
Yeah, we work with working professionals, the individuals that's on a 9 to 5, that's working that job, and they're just looking for a way to kind of, position themselves to retire. And they want something for their family or be able to pass down generational wealth, but they really don't know where to start. So these are smart individuals, but they have money in their savings or in their IRA, but they don't want to make the wrong move. So they need some guidance. They need some assistance with that. And so that's what we do. We come together and show them from someone that never know anything about real estate. We show them from the to A to Z how to get started, and not just giving them classes, but doing a live with them, with a small group, and just answering their questions until they're able to, get to a deal, then move on to their second deal.
All right. So yeah, most of the people that listen to this podcast or will be listening are, either active or passive investors. Either way, they're people who have chosen to use real estate as their wealth creation vehicle, right? To achieve financial freedom. So for anyone out there who might be, listening to you and they've already resonated with you at some level, and they're like, oh, I like this guy. This guy may be the guy for me to learn about multifamily real estate investing. Or, maybe someone out there has, like you said, an IRA, or they have some funds, or they have a lot of, some money saved for their retirement, but they don't really think it's enough, and they want to find a way or a vehicle to put it in so that it can grow. But what do you say to them, man?
Well, first, I would say to them, one, they have to understand their risk tolerance. Everybody's risk tolerance is different. So if you're getting started for the first time, you got some funds, you got to understand what type of real estate vehicle that you want to, play a part of. Do you want to do, 1 to 4 unit multifamilies? Are you looking to do commercial 5 units to 10? It depends on what that is, and the person that you're working with. You have to understand and learn about that person that you're working with too, because their goals may be different than yours. So when I'm working with someone that's looking to get into real estate or looking to invest, I'm looking for someone that's one that wants to build something for their family, maybe looking to get a return secured by real estate. So they may not be receiving the returns that they are happy with their 401k or maybe their retirement, but they want a long-term investment. So that is what I would tell them. Look for something that not quick. So fix and flippers tend to be like fast and can be high risk. But what we like to get into with multifamily is something that's a little bit more conservative, where they can put their money on a real estate deal that's there, that they can visit or they can come by and see. And my thing with anybody is I like to build a relationship with the individuals I'm working with. So, just build a relationship, get a better understanding what their goals are. And the number one thing I would tell them is, one, to understand what their risk tolerance is, because it's different for everybody.
So, man, at BLK Building Solutions, what is it that you do in there?
So that's our construction and real estate company. So that's our company that tends to buy the commercial deals, mixed-use commercials, and we also have a construction company as well. So when we buy these, sometimes in Chicago, we tend to work in the the C-class areas, and we buy these properties, distressed properties, we fix them up, which one we add, value add property. So we adding value to the property, which gives us instant equity, we force the equity, and we're helping out those communities that once seen these properties as eyesores. So that's what our company do. We have a construction company that goes in and we hire people within that community on the construction team to start doing work in those areas. So one, that they are proud of being in those areas. Two, we got people that's moving from individuals that may not have the opportunity to start a small business. We have storefronts for them to start their own business. And that's what the company BLK Building Solutions. That's what we do.
Nice. So so you acquire distressed properties and you actually have your own construction company that you used to do some value add to the properties. Okay, cool. Are you working on any reels right now?
Yeah, so we currently working on a mixed use commercial deal as we speak right now. So it's something that we got under contract that we are looking to do the same thing, take that property that's been on the market for a long while, been an eyesore in the community. We're looking to just update three storefronts and a few apartments above. And then once we get started with that, we're gonna rent it to retail tenants.
Okay, cool. So talking about you have a couple of deals going on right now, and a lot of the real estate investors that I've been talking to have commented on how the market, is a little bit crazy right now. It's a little bit odd, right? And finding deals, the deal flow is a little bit slow, so not everyone has like a lot of deal flow, but you do, and I know that one of your superpowers is finding off-market deals. So tell me about that. How is it that you're able to find off-market deals in a time in which most real estate investors don't have any deal flow?
Well, you know what? That's a good question, and that's something that I've been specializing for the last 5 years. What I've noticed that a lot of people are finding their property on the MLS, the multiple listing service, the most popular way for people to find their property. But the problem with that is not a lot of inventory is kind of picked over already. So one of the things we do, we partner up with the banks. So with asset management companies who give us access to these properties before they even hit the MLS. So the properties that you see on the MLS is the properties that investors that have a relationship with the lenders have already picked over with their construction team and made a decision to buy these properties. So that's one way that we build a relationship with these lenders, asset management companies before so after our team or other investors like ourselves pick over and we don't want it, then it hit the MLS, and that's when you see some of these companies, the real estate companies, holding these properties for the banks. And the second way that we do it is off the market properties. So these are properties that's not on the MLS, not owned by, the lender. And we're building relationships with wholesalers. So I don't know if you're familiar with wholesalers, but wholesalers are individuals that put a property on the contract. They're like what we consider the middleman. They put the property on the contract and they assign their interest over to the investors looking to purchase the property. And they get an assignment fee for that. So we have a relationship with wholesalers in our market. And what we tell them is when they they'll go speak to a potential motivated seller that wants to sell that property, or they receive a plugger in the mail, or they receive a phone call from this wholesaler get on the contract. And once he get on the contract, he contacts someone like myself and we get it for a really, really good price. So they get a fee in between. I don't have to go out knocking on doors or sending out information, but building those relationships, the first thing they do, because we have done so many deals with them, that they would send me over email, say, Jovan, take a look. I know this is what you're looking for. They already know my criteria. They know, most of our family will be looking for the neighborhood. And that's what's help us to have that competitive advantage in our market, just building a relationship, like you said, networking, and being able to network with other individuals. And we go to meetups and we let everybody know what we're doing. And those individuals tend to get us off market deals. And you'll be amazed just by having those relationships, speaking to, no matter how they look, where they from, is communicating with these individuals, sending them emails that this is how our deals are formed.
Nice. This topic about relationships and networking and building relationships is like key, and it always comes up, right? So I have a question for you, man. Banks. How do you go about building relationships with banks? How? Yeah, like it's not that clear, right? And to some people out there listening, they may be just getting started, or they may be aspiring active real estate investors, and they may be like, how do I form a relationship with a bank? Like I understand how I form a relationship with a person. I reach out to them, provide value, build trust, add value, and all of that. But how do you do that with a bank, man?
Great question. And it's kind of the same thing when you break it down, because the person that's behind the bank is an individual. And these individuals have to get these property off of the road. So what they tend to do is they show up at meetup events. So there's a website called meetup.com. So you go to meetup.com, and depending on your area and your location throughout the United States, you can put what type of event you're interested in. So if you're interested in photography, you're interested in real estate. So I tend to focus on events that's surrounding around real estate. So if I'm in Arizona, I've never been there before, I want to build a relationship with some people in Arizona. First thing I'm doing is going to meetup.com, and I'm gonna see, okay, it's a meetup for this Friday, real estate investing. I go to those meetings. When I go to those meetings, the first thing I'm doing, I'm saying, hey, Alex, how you doing? What do you do for a living? You tell me what you do for a living, and I'm starting a conversation. You'll be amazed how many lenders are in that room, how many hard money lenders, how many private fund lenders, all these amazing people that's in the room just by speaking. So I make sure I try to work the room and speak to everybody. And the first thing I do is I always follow up. From those meetings is where I meet lenders. I let them know what I do. I let them know about my construction company and how can I help them in the future. So they start inviting me to some of the bank events, and then I start showing up to some of the events that the banks start having. And then from there, they'll put me on their email list and say, hey, when we have any properties we need to offload, hey, we'll give your company an opportunity to look at it. And that's basically how we do it. It starts from networking and building relationships.
Mm-hmm. So who are the individuals behind the banks? Like, is that the owner of the bank or the manager of the bank? Like,
so you probably want to speak with them. Is normally the asset manager. So these are the individuals that for the bank, they are the one that want to try to get rid of the. So when you have a property that foreclosed, that property has foreclosed on the individuals and the whole proceedings went through. Now the next step for the bank, they tend to give it to the asset management company or the asset manager of the bank, because the bank is not in the business of real estate. Once they give to the individual, the first thing they do is they put it out to their private list of investors who got cash, who can close the deal or close it within 30 days with hard money or private funds. And if it can't move within 30 days, then they give that property over to an assigned real estate brokerage company to put that property on the MLS. So when you go on the MLS and you see bank-owned property, that's coming from an asset manager who assigned that to a managing broker company. So the best thing to do with that is continue building those relationships. And then also, if the other way you can do is just go to the bank itself and say, hey, who's the asset manager who handle your REOs? And once you get that number, you can start having a personal conversation with that individual, let them know who you are, what you do, and how you can best help them. Or if they have any upcoming meetings, they just make sure that you attend those meetings to start showing your face, let them know who you are. And once they know who you are, they consistently start sending you deals over and over and over again.
that's awesome insights, man. Thank you very much. I really liked it. And so on the other side, so you also have relationships with wholesalers, right? And I do know that, wholesalers is basically the middleman between a motivated buyer, a motivated seller, I mean, and a real estate investor who wants to buy at a lower price, right?
Yes.
And that's basically what wholesalers do. They just sell the contract, right? They just sell, like, they're the middleman basically. But I can see how it might work, right? Like wholesalers for multifamily, like big commercial multifamily buildings. Most of the time you hear wholesalers wholesaling, houses, right? Maybe a duplex or maybe a quad or whatever. But it's not pretty, maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not aware, right? But it's not very often that you see a wholesaler wholesaling a 100 unit apartment complex.
Yeah, probably you do, but not a lot. Not at that level, 100 units, because the direct seller of that property tends to be more familiar with putting it on the market with the MLS, because they know they can get more eyes and more people to see it. And if a person is not put on the MLS, what they're doing is trying to save the fee from doing that. But you do have some deals. I can tell you right now, I don't see a lot in that range. If anything, the most of the deals we see is when it comes to multifamily, between 10 to 50 units. That's being listed with the wholesalers. And one of the other ways to even find those type of deals, and it's something that's in your backyard that you probably experience a lot and you probably don't even know it, is Facebook. Joining these Facebook groups are so powerful. That alone, you can make millions of dollars by going into these Facebook groups, like I do 3 to 4 times a week, and just watching these guys put these deals out there. And you'll know who the newbies are, and you'll know who the ones that experience. The experienced guys tend to put deals up there almost every other day. And I just call them and have a conversation with those guys. And they tend to send me deals that don't work a lot of times, but all I need is one deal. and one deal to retire. So it's just take one deal, one way to structure that deal, and you can be retired for the rest of your life based on just going to your Facebook group and just building a relationship without even leaving your home.
Or doing what I do, which is networking with people like you from the comfort of my own home.
There
right?
you go.
So walk me through how a deal that can retire you look like.
Man, you know what? That's it. I always say that. I used to get people used to ask me from time to time, hey, what year are you going to retire? You're going to retire, you get 50, you get 60. So my answer is, if I was to ask you, say, hey, when do you plan on retiring? My answer would be, I'm only one deal away from retiring. It takes you one deal to retire, the one right deal. So I give you an example. So about 5 years ago, I had a really good friend of mine who was not in real estate. He was in the insurance business. What you speak to, networking and relationship, he met this guy who was a millionaire just at a gas station. They started having a conversation. They started liking each other and had a good conversation. What happened is the guy said, hey, I got this portfolio of properties that I'm looking to offload that was close to like $200 million. After speaking to him, I had a good friend from out the country who has investors, and we all spoke. And so speaking to my investor partner and friend, he said, Jovan, I need you to do one thing. If you can put the deal together, structure the deal, and this is what I needed in the deal, structure the deal, then I would bring you in as a partner at 10% ownership of the company. My ownership in the company would have gave me close to $50,000 a month just off of my percentage of ownership. So what it looked like is this. So you may not have the funds to close on a $200,000 deal or $100,000 deal, or maybe even $10 million deal. You may know someone else that have the funds, but they don't. Guess what? That individual that's an investor that's from out of the country, he don't have the time to find these type of deals. So if you the person that comes in almost like a wholesaler, where you structure the deal. So I'm working with my investor partners. I know what they want in the deal. We looking at the numbers together. I'm learning as well. They're teaching. I'm telling them, what are you guys looking at? So as we was looking at the deal, we see that how much the property was making on a net every single month. It was close to like 400,000 every single month. So it was some really big numbers that scared the crap out of me. I never done anything even close to it. That deal did not go through. But what I'm saying is, by structuring the deal and bringing in these guys together that never met each other, and just being the person that put the glue to put it together, that they was going to put me in a company for 10% ownership for the rest of my life. So imagine that you're getting close to $50,000 to $40,000 a month just by structuring the deal for the rest of your life, which is amazing. So that's kind of rare, don't happen often. But to speak to that is, it's about relationship building. It's not always about if you have the money. You may know someone else that may have the funds, they may not have the deal. The person have the deal, they may not have the funds, and you can be the middleman. Sometimes being the middleman can pay off where I didn't use my own credit. In that deal, I wouldn't have to use any of my money. I just used one thing, which was my knowledge to put together. And I wasn't afraid to ask questions because I didn't understand the deal because of the numbers that's on the deal. But working with the investor partners, they were able to explain it to me. And for them, it was a great deal. It did not work out, but those are the type of deals like that, or even smaller deals that you can end up retiring. So the whole thing is understanding for you.
Hello, morning kings and queens. At my company, Millionaire Network Automation, we believe in the power of networking. We believe that in real estate, your net worth is your network. This is why we help real estate investors raise capital by connecting them with their ideal investors and helping them build a massive network of their ideal investors in less than 30 days and with only 4 hours of work per week. If you're interested in this, click the link below in the description of this podcast to learn how you can propel your growth with a reliable system that will consistently help you connect with your ideal investors, build trust, add value, get your investors to promote you and put you in front of more of their investor friends, and raise more capital faster and in a much more effortless way so that you can achieve your financial freedom and still have the time and the energy to pour into every single other area of your life. So go watch the training, and you're going to have the opportunity to book a call to talk about how you can get this 100% done for you system implemented in the next 5 days. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you later, and enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
What's for me, retiring for me look different than what it looked for you. So if your number is $10,000 a month, all it takes is finding a deal that's going to pay you, a multifamily deal that's going to pay you every single month, $10,000 a month. That could be retirement for you. So it looked different for everybody, but all it takes is one deal. And like I said, again, it's one deal, and it's all wrapped around networking and building relationship. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
There you go. So you're one deal away from literally retiring and living an amazing and comfortable life, and you're one connection away from finding that one deal.
There you go. You got it right on the head.
So man, you talked a lot about right now, deal structure. Tell me what is that?
Well, deal structure is, so basically for individuals that tend to buy properties, what I say the traditional way. You go on, you see a property on the MLS, you work with your realtor on a real estate contract, gives you your attorney, and you close the deal. So there's other deals that's the only way that you can buy a property. So what we like to do is also what we call creative financing and deal structure. So creative financing is basically finding a deal where we may not be using the bank. You, the owner, you, the seller of the property, we may do what is called terms, where you have a property, say you have a property for say $500,000 and it's bringing in say $10,000 a month, and you don't really want to sell a property and do capital gains on there, but I will come to you and provide a situation where one, you're tired of the property, it's been mismanaged, you may not be getting the rents that you want. Our company come in and we'll offer you terms, and sometimes those terms can be anywhere between like 5 to 6 years, a certain amount of money a month, and a down payment up front. And that down payment could be $10,000, it could be $20,000, sometimes it could be less than that. So now you're getting a property that at $500,000, you're getting it for at $10,000, just working out the terms. Deal structure come in too is when, for me, I like to do things that works for my team and that work for us and stand as liquid as possible. So I had one deal where I had and it just depends on the seller too. I had a seller that was very distressed. They did not want the multifamily property. They had a headache. I saw them in a meetup group and I asked them what it is they were looking for. They were just looking to get rid of the property. That's it. That's all. So we was able to work out a zero financing deal for 5 years. So no interest for 5 years. And we gave no interest for 5 years. And we just gave them principal for 5 years. After the 5 years, we gave them a lump sum payment. And the way we were going to pay them either was going to refi or to sell a property and cash out. So with that property, there was no down payment, no money out of pocket, no credit. We just deal structure. We structured the deal to work based on what the seller said that they wanted.
Yeah.
So we was able to, so then we went to closing to make sure that we got the deed to the property and the seller became the bank on that property. So their interest was protected because now they're just like Bank of America or Chase. Now the seller is on a property as basically the bank were giving us the terms, but the terms work for us because now we able to reposition the property and take the money from the rents and start fixing the property and start doing the cosmetic. And then now we force the value and added value to the property. Now we're able to pay the seller what they want in 5 years or more and still keep the property. And now we got equity in it, or we can refinance and take a little cash out to reposition to buy another property. So that's what I say, creative financing and deal structure.
With no money down. That's crazy, man. So so what kind of property was this? This
it was a multifamily property. So it was like a 15 unit multifamily property.
Damn, 15 units you basically got for free. Or obviously not for free, right? But yeah, that's crazy, man. And then there's something very important that you said, all by listening to what the seller wanted.
There you go. I didn't give them just anything. I wanted to be fair with them. So you gotta understand too now, when doing this can be very challenging. You do have to have some type of skill. You do have to understand how this works. So a lot of times I say, people hear no money down, but you got to understand, if you don't have any money or you're not looking to put money, you have to be really good at deal structuring and having the knowledge to put the deal together and understand the both sides. What is it that the seller is looking for? How can you help the seller out? The seller at that time, they was behind on their property taxes. They was behind on a lot of different things, and we came in. We was able to reposition. We was able to bring our team in. And for us, it wasn't a lot of work. We already have a construction team, so we're getting everything at cost. So you got to understand it. I knew the value of the property. The owner had it for so long, they didn't understand the market. So now this property has got an extra $200,000 equity in that property now that you can reposition within a year or two to buy another property and still be able to pay the individual off on what you agreed to in the beginning.
And then refinance or whatever. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah. So how did you find this person? You said on a group, right?
Well, you know what? This person I met just at a real estate meetup group. And one thing I would tell anybody is never judge a book by its cover. This person, if you was to go out judge off of appearance, it may look like this person was having a rough time in their life, the way that they dress and their appearance. So you never go off for how the person look. Never. That's the worst thing you can ever do. And no one was speaking to him. Everybody spoke to everybody. They did not speak to him, but he was there and he was trying to learn something. He really needed something. And I went to him and spoke to him and I introduced myself to him. And I just asked him, I didn't say anything about me. I asked him about himself. What did he do? What did he do for a living? If there's anything I do to help him, let him know. I'm in real estate. And then he said, yeah, I something you can help me with. Can we have, I met at my favorite place, Starbucks. That's where we get all the deals done at Starbucks. And we sat there and he told me what his issues was. And within like a month or two, we was able to handle the deal, and he was excited because he no longer had to deal with this burden. So people got to understand it's different for everybody. Some sellers are in a position, especially with the pandemic and things that happen, they're in a position where they cannot no longer maintain each property. You're coming in and really provide some assistance to this individual and help them put them in a position where they can now live their life and be with their family without having to deal with these pains and these problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're helping them, Awesome. So, man, let's see. So you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, it's just getting started, but yeah, we have a YouTube channel, Jovan Crawford, abbreviation SR Senior. So
what is it? What is in the horizon for you, Jovan? Jovan, when it comes to like real estate and your company and all of that?
Well, you know what? I think the biggest thing for us now, we're really heading into, so kind of like we said, that multifamily, we really come in a direction where our mission is really to help inspire and motivate individuals that's looking to get into real estate and to basically provide generational wealth to the underserved community where they're from. So a lot of people have been deprived of opportunities in certain communities when it comes to real estate. And there's so many different things. But one of the biggest ways to lower the wealth gap within the Black and brown community is by getting started with real estate. And some of the biggest challenges with getting into real estate is not having enough money, not qualifying, or the majority of Black and brown spend their money on rent and student loans. But if we can show these individuals that there's other opportunities to own multifamily properties, a 4-unit, a 3-unit with FHA with 3.5% down, where these individuals now saving their money that they normally use for rent and taking that money to save. So if you're a person that have rent and you're paying $1,000 for the last 10 years, now you're taking that money, you're saving it because these tenants are paying your mortgage now. And now you're taking a portion of that to save, to put aside for reserves, and to invest in the next year for your investment property. So what I'm focusing on right now is really helping those working professionals who may not have opportunities or know a lot about real estate, get them started with their very first rental property. And these are not commercial properties; these are the residential 2 to 4 unit properties. And if as we walk them along and start helping them build their portfolio, that's the biggest thing we're doing right now. And we're doing that online, helping that individuals that really want to grow their portfolio and have something to pass on to their family.
And I think you're doing that with a 5-day challenge, right? What is it called?
Yeah, so it's called a 5-day buy income property challenge. So we tend to have that every month, and then you have we call like the general admission and the VIP. General admission is basically you come in, you hear the training for 5 days, and basically we're gonna give you what you need to get started in the next 90 days, getting your very first multifamily property. And for the ones that go to the VIP, that's more for the individuals that can ask questions and get their questions answered, as far as getting in real estate, what's needed, how to evaluate the property.
Nice. And where can someone get access to that, or where can someone go so that they can learn a little bit more about this 5-day challenge? Where can they sign up? Or
sure, everything is connected. So all our social media is the same. So it's Jovan. So if you go to Jovan Crawford, so I'm senior, I got a sign. His name is junior. So it's Jovan Crawford, SR for YouTube. It's the same thing for Instagram and Facebook. And then the website is jovancrawford.com, www.jovancrawford.com.
Awesome. So Jovan, we do have a couple of minutes, and I do end my episodes with a couple of questions, right, that I do like to have time for. So the first question that I want to ask Jovan is, because you're now surrounding yourself with people who are just getting started, right? So what is a false limiting belief that you see a lot of real estate investor beginners have that holds them back?
Oh, good question. Good question. You know what? Just believing that they believe in the stories of their grandparents and their mom about the horror stories of getting into real estate, and that they won't be able to sustain and make money from it. So they've been hearing this for so long that, you know, you got to deal with eviction, things like that, but they don't know that there's a system to it, and there's a way that they can automate the process where they don't have to be hands-on. So that's one of the things I hear a lot, just kind of what they heard from their aunts and their uncles and their neighbors, that one, it's not profitable, and they won't make any money from doing it.
Yeah. So just believing what their parents or grandparents told them, right? And it's not just about real estate, right? But about everything, right? A lot of the things that we were told by our parents and our grandparents were based on their limited perspective of the world. And it's not a bad thing. That's just, you know, how things are. And you got to be able to transcend above that, become aware, and build more empowering beliefs for yourself. So the next question is, what mindset shift or empowering belief should you have if you want to become a successful real estate investor, Jovan?
Well, you know what, that is probably the number one thing before you can do anything else is your mindset. You have to have the mindset that, one, believe that you can do it. It starts with that. What you believe is what you will become. What you believe is what you will become. If you believe that you will become a successful real estate investor, you will. If you believe that you won't, guess what? That'll happen as well. So it's starting off with that. It's starting off with that mindset. One, I believe I can do it. Two, knowing that you're new, knowing that you have experience, you have to surround yourself around other like-minded individuals that speaks that language that you want to speak. So if I'm looking to get my very first rental property, I don't want to be around people that's been renters their whole life. They never own, and get my advice from them. So the first thing is with your mindset is, one, believe that you can do it. Then surround yourself around individuals that have a positive mindset, that's in a space, that have multiple real estate, that's going to encourage you along the way. That's the first step. Once you can get that step done, everything else will come to you.
For sure. Yeah. Mindset. Yeah. It all starts with believing you can, because if you don't have that belief, you won't even try it in the first place.
There you go.
So what is a successful strategy that you've used to raise capital?
Excuse me. Successful strategy. So the first thing what I learned about raising capital is really relationship building. It's getting to know the individuals in front of you. So if you're doing private, so one thing that I do is I do private investing and private funds. So that tend to be individuals that have capital to do real estate. A person that look like you and I. It's a matter of having a conversation with them. And when I started raising capital, I was meeting sometimes at these individuals' home at their table, eating dinner with them. Sometimes we are meeting at Starbucks or Panera Bread, and it's not a one-time thing. It's I want to know about their family, their beliefs, what they believe in, their morals. Because at the end of the day, it's not only their work with me, I work with them as well. Because some people that I end up working with is not a good fit for me. Yeah, and I may not be a good fit for them. And there was an individual that I worked with that I met with before, who had $1 million on the table that wanted to do real estate, but they had a really bad attitude. Their morals didn't align with mine. So after 4 to 5 conversations, I immediately decided to not move forward. And they was very upset because they thought, based on the amount of money that they had to do real estate, that I would just work with them and do the things they want. I have my own system, I have my own way of moving, and we have to align in a certain type of way. So the one thing when it comes to raising funds, you have to remember is it's relationship building. It's getting to know who the person in front of you. Because one is, dealing with private funds. Sometimes this individual's retirement accounts that they've been saving up for 5 to 10, 20, maybe 30, 40 years. So one, you want to make sure that this person is, one, you're explaining to them and make sure that they understand what they're doing with you. Not just, you're not accepting everybody money. You want to make sure that person understands the risk. There are risks. If somebody says there's no risk in real estate, then I would run far away. It's always going to be a risk in real estate. Even if you never lost, it's still a risk in real estate. Just educating those individuals that there is risk and what that look like. And then once you can get to that point where they understand it and you feel it's a good fit for you guys, then I would say move forward.
So it's all about building relationships. And based on your experience, how long should you expect for that to take?
You know what? That's a good question. And I hear that question often. It's really no time frame. There's really no time frame. I experience sometimes 3 months, and I experienced one person almost 2 years. Because you got to understand, when you're working with a private lender, it's based on certain qualifications, and you can get the deal done in 30 days.
It's a business.
Yeah. When I'm working with Alex, it depends on what Alex got going on in his life today. Is, what's going on with your family, what's going on with your kids, what other investments that you're working on. So it varies from person to person. Then you got to remember, if you never met me before, you have no idea, you never seen none of my social media, you don't know who Jovan Crawford is, you want to get to know who I am. And and some people don't understand real estate that well. So the ones that understand real estate well, they understand the numbers, and they may move a little bit faster. But the ones that don't know, they have certain questions that you may hear all the time. Hey, how I know if you're going to run off of my money? How I know you're going to, what happened if the deal go left? These are questions that they ask me all the time. You got to be able to answer those questions without even thinking about it. Like for me, I have a family. I love my family. I love my kids. I'm not trying to go to jail for doing anything, with your money. So you have to make sure that has been on the table. So it can take, I say that the soonest for me may have been like 30 days. But again, the person that took 30 days already have some type of warm market. They knew who I was. They watched me on social media versus someone I never met for the first day. It may take them 2 to 3 months. And sometimes, I would say that's why it's good to continue building those relationships and never as an investor get in a position where you're desperately needing the money to invest in your deal. Because when you get in that space, they can feel that. They can feel when you're desperate or when you got this deal that you're closing in 2 weeks and you need to raise $100,000. They feel that. And you don't want to put that pressure on them. The best way to do that is, I may have a deal that I may be looking to do a deal in the next 7 months from now. So start building those relationships now. So when you get to the point where you're about to buy a deal, your investors are already ready. They're already ready to commit. They got the paperwork. They're ready to pull the trigger, and you don't have to rush. So it's more you as an investor is building that and knowing that you got to work that relationship, and it may take some time. So the thing is, continue talking to them, continue updating them, and as you have deals, because deals, you want to be ready at all times because opportunities can fall in your lap today. So I can have an opportunity come up today. I already have investors I've been already talking to about the opportunity and what it may look like.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks for the insights, man. They were really valuable. The last question, Jovan, is knowing what you know now, what piece of advice, and with your over a decade in experience in real estate, what piece of advice would you give yourself? And my camera has just turned off. I don't know. Like I'm telling you, this had again for some reason. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
but, what piece of advice would you give yourself at the beginning of your journey, right, to help yourself have faster, easier, and smoother success?
Well, yeah, I think the very first thing would be probably 3 things. One to everybody is to maintain your credit. Always maintain your credit, keep your credit right, because there are some things you can do with your credit that you can't do with money sometimes. And a credit allow you to leverage and do many different things that a lot of people that don't have good credit. So one, I would say make sure you maintain your credit and paying your bills on time. I know these are basic. And 2, knowledge. Knowledge is probably one of the most important things. And if you don't understand real estate, is really to start partnering with individuals and start learning what it is you know to get into these deals. The more you start learning about real estate, the more you're able to get better deals, better negotiation, and better returns. So you have your credit, you have your knowledge, and then your partnerships. So making sure that the next thing would be aligning yourself up with the right partnerships and what that look like. So it's just doing your due diligence on those individuals. It could be a family friend, it could be a cousin, uncle, but treat whatever partnership like a business from day one. If you treat it like a business from day one, you get paid like a business from day one. So nice. I learned that a lot of people lose money. A lot of people lose relationships because they don't treat that partnership like a business.
How do you treat a partnership like a business, man?
Having a sit down with your attorneys and have a contractor agreement that fits both what you guys do for the deal. No matter what deal, any partners I ever work with is active investors I work with and partners in my companies. We all have operating agreements on our, what if something go wrong, to buy to the out. You have to have those things in, because it's a business. And although my sister or my brother may be around forever, but what happened when things go left? If you and me and Alex have already made this agreement, what we're going to do in the business, there's no need for us to, go in a different direction. We already have everything that's spelled out, and it make the process a lot smoother, and it avoid lawsuits and getting sued.
Yeah. For some reason, man, entrepreneurs don't get all of the agreements on paper, right? And on contracts. And yeah, that can save a lot of time. It can save a lot of effort and sacrifice and relationships, especially. But yeah, man. So Jovan, if anyone, wants to get to know a little bit more about you, they want to maybe attend your 5-day challenge that you got going on, or just simply become part of your network and get in contact with you and connect, where would be the best place for them to find you?
Well, you know what? I think the easiest thing for anybody is social media. Social media is where I'm at. That's where I hang out at, just like I met you there. So the best way is to find me on Instagram. All my socials are the same. So it's Jovan, Jovan Crawford SR. So Jovan Crawford Sr. on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever works best for you. And just shoot me a message. Send me an inbox, and we can kind of go from there.
Awesome, Jovan. Well, man, I've really enjoyed this talk that I had with you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later.
Hey, thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you for listening to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. We want you to know that we love and appreciate you, and we're super grateful about being part of your journey of becoming a successful real estate entrepreneur and having it all. Please share this episode with a friend who you think will be impacted positively. Send it to someone who you know is interested in real estate and dreams of having it all and being the best they can be across all areas. And if you thought this episode was really valuable, share it on your social media as a post or a story. We have a special gift for all of those who contribute to the Modern Kings and Queens movement. So for those of you who decided to share this episode and help us spread our message, send me a message letting me know on any social media platform at ALEX Ramirez, the Modern King. I have a special surprise for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll